So yeah, man, despite the fact that you could say I have something, right? I can be so creative, right? I have found many ways to express myself, but all I feel is sadness. All I feel is wanting to leave, wishing for it to stop. And how is that? Why is that? Because this world is not what I wanted. I mean, you wake up and it's all crap. And I feel more welcome, or at least more at peace, amongst a herd of grazing cows, which I know are to most humans just a packet of meat, right? So I wish to go to a place where I could experience nature, like truly experience nature the way it is supposed to be. But I am stuck in this world where everybody acts like nature is something gross, nature is something bad, right? And like we are making everything better. And so for me, the reason to keep creating content is to try to express this feeling, is to try to say what's on my mind. And for me, that means that I spend a lot of time alone at home, simply creating content so that people may find something in it, that they may see. So one of my jobs as an artist is also to get better at what I'm expressing, to make sure that people can understand what I'm expressing, you know? It shouldn't be just nonsense. I mean, what in a kind of world do we live in where movies like Mad God appear and are then being worshipped as, you know, the greatest thing he ever made? It took 20 years, yeah. And it looks like gore, like shit. And why does it look like this? Because that's the world that we are being presented with. It's a world of breaking spirits to harness their energy, right? It's a world of harvesting everything to the last drop, right? It's a world of, you know, we broke you as a child, you know, in early schooling, we hit you so hard that you would never get up. And then in the end, we carry you around in a wheelchair to get the last drop of energy out of you. I mean, what kind of a world is this? I mean, what's behind the facade, the outer layer of your face? What is there, and what am I? Why have I been burdened to see these things? And who am I even talking to? These are the really relevant questions. I mean, why do we have to label everything? Why do we have to put a name tag on a butterfly? Why can't it be enough to just be a butterfly? Why does it have to be this or that? And why do I have to catch it? Why isn't it enough to simply say, I'm happy you exist, right? I'm happy. Why do we have to own everything? right? Why does everyone think, you know, there's something like pride in having all these kinds of gimmicks? Because what I feel like is very simple. That, you know, there is pride in a lion, but the lion knows it's temporary. And what the lion does is he's just maintaining the space at the cost of his own life. And he puts himself out there. And there could be, you know, a younger lion, a stronger lion coming at any moment to kick him off his throne. Right? And every day these lions have to fight for survival. Order must be maintained. So in a sense, pride means, you know, to live, to be strong, to hold your position. But how can you hold your position? I mean, most people that I meet, all they do is hold their position on the couch because they cannot even get up anymore. I mean, my very neighbors, their back is so bent because it fits exactly into their chair. Right? So, I mean, this is simply something that cannot be maintained and be called natural. I mean, we have left the natural world. We have killed everything, right, that could make life interesting here. And we have become so vicious and toxic that spending time with us is literally intolerable. You know, we have made deals with spirits that we no longer understand. And we no longer even see, you know, what is a spirit? You know, what is working on the other side of what we think is reality? And the only thing I can say to that is, well, you may act like I'm the crazy one, but I can hold planks for more than a minute while you sit at home, you know, on the chair where you probably masturbated 5 times now. Or maybe I'm mistaken. But why then would you watch this if not to judge it? Right? You want to get something out of this. Well, we have work to do. And the work starts with you. You have to start your cleansing. And slowly but surely retreat from being harvested. And somehow try to help nature maintain its, what I would call, rightful place. Right? So that we can have areas like this. And I would even say more natural, because these areas have been harvested as well. And the industry is constantly trying to wiggle their way into this. And despite all the stuff I have been doing, I mean, if I were full of hope, I would probably be doing something else. Because what I'm doing here is stemming from the realization that I've been cheated and that I've been lied to, and that words were used to say something that was never intended to be accomplished. The entire thing, everything, is just a distraction. You know, give me back myself, I'll claim it. I'll claim back myself. And then I'll try to merge back into nature as gracefully as I can. You know, without dying or something. And then I'll I'll be able to build something that's at least a bit natural, where I can spend time with somewhat free animals, right? And then maybe make cheese or something, right? Like have a bit of peace after a lifetime of having been raped spiritually. And that's the way I feel every second of every day. I wake up, I open my eyes, I look outside, you know, I see an electric scooter driving past, and what I think is, no, this is like clearly the sign of a depression. If you cannot even, you know, walk anymore, if you're too weak to, you know, move the scooter with your own strength, then you're depressed. And that's a fact. Because then energy ain't flowing because your phone is sucking you dry. And then it's being marketed as, you know, this is like, wow, that's now the new thing. You know, this is nature friendly. You know, you're doing something good. Yeah. Where is the electricity coming from? Where do the materials come from? Everything comes from nature. Right? So, yeah, I suppose I really hate this life. I'm trying to make something out of it, but I have little faith that this can change while I'm still here. I mean, it can change small scale. It can change small scale. That's what I believe. I believe it can change small scale. But big scale? That will take a lot of time. And a lot of small deeds. Right? A lot of you pushing yourself off the mattress, out of the house, into the experience, observing, feeling, reacting to it. And then understanding in the area where you are what you can do. What is your sadhana? What do you feel drawn into? I have stopped time and time again to stop with making these artworks, but every time I do, I feel drawn back into them. Like I have to keep going with this, and that is its own hell. As much as I like this, it is clearly a distraction from what I believe is natural. Plus, nothing's happening. You know, that comes to it. I've been doing this for years, and it's like I almost do not exist, but apparently there are people that can find me on Instagram, so at least I know, right, that people know that I exist. They just think, you know, I don't know what they think. And does it really matter? That's the other question. You know, what side of the coin are we looking at? Or do we simply take it, recognize the fact that it has two sides, but it actually has more than that? You know, it has an upper side, has a lower side, but what's with the rim? What's with the surrounding thing, right? And if I flip it, you know, then it's a cube, it's a circle or something. It's a globe suddenly. So is the earth round or flat? Who cares, man? Nature harvests what? Spirits are being harvested, you know? Spirit, the nature, spirit, you, a spirit of nature, are being harvested. We are being harvested. Children are being harvested. And that's the message. That's the only thing you'll ever have to understand, that the Lord of the Rings is exactly this world. It's exactly this. You know? It's crippled people, spirits that started calling themselves people, that cannot walk like in a straight line anymore because they're too wobbly. Just angrily destroying nature and even thinking that that's what they should do. I mean, I've been raised by orcs. But I feel more connected to being a hobbit. But I've been raised by orcs. I've been raised into Mordor. You know, it's like Frodo has been abducted. You know? It's like, that's like the story after the Shire has been freed, right? That's like later. You know, Mordor came back or something and took over the Shire. And you realize that, wow, at some point life has been different. This is the phase we're in now. This is the phase, this is like the great upheaval. You know, we have to like throw off these claims that science is making that they understand, because they understand nothing. Nothing. Einstein got nothing. Otherwise he would have gone hiking. If he would have understood something, right, he would have expressed it in art, in something beautiful. That's just what I see. Then he would have done yoga. If he would have understood something, like, what did he say? Time's relative, and everyone applauded it. But nobody did anything with that. Everybody just says time's relative. Yeah, so what happens if you drink a coffee? Does it speed up time or not? You know, what happens if you eat sugar? Does it speed up time or not? You know? Why do people think that time's running away? Well, because they stopped being in the moment. And they started clinging. And then they don't pay attention anymore. And then they just stumble through life. So it's like old women that stopped their meditation, that stopped doing crochet, that stopped leaving the house, that stopped moving, that stopped hiking, that stopped squatting. That's what we're talking about. Like, you should go back into nature, you know, frequently. And then you should redo your entire design for your home. You should get rid of all the chairs. You should get rid of all the couches, everything that you think is so valuable and comfortable. You should just get rid of it. And then just deal with the process of hardening until you feel like it's actually comfortable to sleep on the ground. That's the transition we need. That's just what I'm telling you. That is the transition we need. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. I mean, I'm talking about it. I'm living it. But, right, I mean, unless you'd want it for yourself, I mean, you just have to see, just listen to some of the stories, the kind of surgeries people get just because they're too lazy to do something. Oh yeah, the doctor will fix it for me. Yeah. He'll be sitting in a wheelchair, you know? And I'll be throwing rings into Mount Doom. I'll just take away your concept of money. I'll take away your concepts of power, right? You know, nature just throws it out like that. A thunderstorm wants some power, you know? Here. Are you gonna stand on an open field during a thunderstorm? You know, probably not. Then you think, oh yeah, humans are so powerful. We can make cars. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. You see, that's just what I'm dealing with. Words that are being used to falsify everything.